Mai Hawaii o Keawe ai ni hawa ka helelani ko aho o kako I have aloha nui kako.
Aloha.
First, I'd like to express my gratitude. It's hard to speak Pidgin. You give my mahalos to Christina for inviting me, for all of you guys for showing up today. Charlene Sato Center for inviting, for having this venue for us to talk story a little bit about Pidgin. I don't know if I'm the perfect person to be talking about this, but I'm really appreciative for having this opportunity to talk about Pidgin, my personal experiences with Pidgin, how it affected me personally, and how it led me, half Portuguese, half Filipino. Well, I'm not too sure about the percentages because my dad always said he was 200% Portuguese. He had 100 from his mother, 100 from his father, so he was 200% Portuguese. So trying to do the maths, I think I'm half Portuguese. And how this half Portuguese, half Filipino ended up teaching Hawaiian, and how Pidgin played a role in me becoming a teacher, a kumu of Hawaiian language. So I'm from the Big Island. The star here is in Hilo, but this is the town area of Hilo, so it's like the big city for me. I grew up, oh sorry. So the star here is Hilo. I grew up on the border up here in O'Okala. And it's really, really isolated from everybody else. Well, the island is big, so everybody's kind of isolated in their own way. But I grew up on the sugar plantation in between sugarcane fields. And in my community, O'Okala, we had Hawaiians, Filipinos, Portuguese, Japanese, Pake, and we all lived in camps. You guys familiar with camps? All camps were in the sugar plantation. And when they first started, a lot of them were segregated, not segregated in a bad way, but because they were familiar with each other. They had Japanese in one camp, the Filipinos in one camp. One of the camps is called Pake camp. I'm guessing the Pakes was living up there. We had single man camp. You know, single man camp? I asked my mom, what is that single man camp? Well, all the single men living on one community, all together, and they had, I guess, women wash their clothes and cook for them. What? But yeah, so we had camps all around, and because we had so many different kinds of people in our camps, the language was the same, the structure, you know, Pidgin structure was the same, but we had a lot of words from different cultures that were kept. For example, like, when I went to Hilo, maybe people would say, oh, stink your bread. But not to me personally. I brush my teeth, most of the time. But in our camp, you know, you just hear more hauno your bread. Or if people would call like a big pakini can, you'll call it a plangana in Filipino. But it had context. They'll call it plangana when he's cooking, but when you turn them over and put on a stick on them with a rope, then they call them pakini base. You know, so different context. And a lot of the words that I remember from when I was a small kid is when, you know, language has a lot of emotion attached to it. And so when I remember the words, it's usually because it was usually the kolohe words. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I'm going to sing some kolohe words a little bit, small kind. If you guys get offended, I'm sorry. But, so words like when people tease each other like that. Oh, hauna your bread. Oh, I don't remember that word, hauna. You know. Or, like parts of the body, maybe. I don't know, for some reason I can say boto. I don't have a problem saying boto. But when it comes to the female part in Philippines, I don't know, I don't want to say. I don't know, you guys know what it is, right? I don't want to say. So those kind of words. We even had Samoans in our community. One family they moved from Samoa. And that's when I learned the words like ufa kefe. Sorry, I don't want to, you know, offend anybody, but it's those words that when we feel an emotional attachment to, if it's happy being kolohe or being teased and we feel a little bit shame, you know, that's when we start remembering the words. And yeah, so that's my community. So I put a picture of the mill, and when I was looking for pictures of the mill, I was online Googling O'Okala mill. And I kind of forgot what it looked like. And so I want to thank you guys again for letting me kind of go back down memory lane about growing up in Ocala. So, this is my high school and elementary. I went there for 13 years from K to 12. And the reason I'm putting this up here is because, when you're a small kid, you don't really, you kind of just go with the flow. The teacher tell you to do something, you do it. And plus, I was scared of my mom and I would catch cracks when I go home if the teacher called me upset and do something. But, going along, and I remember in the 80s, when I was in elementary, they first started telling us, correcting our language. Oh, I pau eat already. You're done eating. What? Okay. Oh, where's Kim? Kimos, they play outside. He's playing outside. I just remember stuff like that. I didn't have any emotional thing. Just, okay, whatever. I'll talk like how the teacher like me talk. But then, when I got into the 8th grade English class, we had this teacher came from the mainland, Haulelele. I don't want to talk bad about her. She stayed there from the beginning, and she retired a few years ago. But when I was in 8th grade, I gotta remember, our community is a small community. Everybody's father worked for the plantation. Everybody's father. Except for the Chungs at Walters Electric. But most of my classmates. And she told us that if we were to continue speaking Pidgin, we can only drive truck the rest of our life. What? So, we're gonna go drive truck. What is wrong with driving truck? My father drive truck. His father drive truck, her father drive truck. It's an honorable job. It's the thing. It's the plantation. It's the plantation. Everybody drive truck. So, and I felt it. I didn't know how to explain it back to her, like how I was feeling, but I felt it back then. And that's when I started. What you call? I had an awakening, sort of. This is my family, 200% Portuguese. Right there. And so this is our plantation home, Kukui Village Camp. And so I put this picture up there of my family because in the 8th grade, it seemed like I had to choose. Should I keep speaking English? Or should I stay true to my community, to my family at first, the people who speak Pidgin, who taught me how to speak Pidgin? Or do I follow the advice of, I thought I was an outsider at that time who moved to Hawaii and started teaching English in our school. So from that time on, I really started paying attention to language. Not just language, but to being local in general. And I saw that there were, I don't want to say just two sides, there were a lot of sides, but it made me feel like I had to choose. And so, of course, I was playing sports back then, baseball, t-ball, basketball, so I knew about sides, and so I made a conscious decision then, well not sort of conscious, to choose my people, my language, being local, speaking Pidgin. And I always, if I heard bad things said about Pidgin local people, I'll always fight back, no matter what. And so, I kind of forget what picture is coming after this. Okay. So, I started realizing there's a stigma attached to Pidgin. And this is a quote that I got from the Atlantic, Alia Wong, and I saw a quote from Layana in there, and a quote from Christine in the same article, so they've probably seen this before. It's from Ben Cayetano, governor, highest position in the state, in the government. And this is what he said: if you use Pidgin, it can really affect your grammar. Former Hawaii Governor Ben Cayetano, who spoke the language growing up, once told me. I think it does the kids a disservice if you allow them to continue to speak Pidgin. And so I had a lot of sayings before this one. I think this one encapsulates what all the stigma that is attached to Pidgin. And I've met Ben Cayetano a couple of times. I went to Clayton He's son's graduation party, Ka'ohu, and his mom was part Filipino, and Clayton wanted some kind of thing to relate to being Filipino. So he calls me, oh, you can bring goat. I said, what? Why are you calling me? There's no more goats on the aisle. What, you don't know anybody who can goat? Yeah, I know. My neighbor in my camp, yeah, he sell goat. So he wanted me to bring goat, but in a certain way, called ding. It's kind of raw in vinegar. You guys call ding? Anybody know it? So I bring it to his graduation party, Ka'o's graduation party, and Clayton tells me, "Oh, come, go meet Ben Cayetano." Okay, shoots. So Clayton brings the calding up to Ben, and Ben, Governor Cayetano refused to eat it. He said, "I don't eat that kind of stuff." Well, probably they say it like that. "I don't eat that." I don't know how he said it. I kind of forget. He just said no. So I went home and I told my mom, Ben Cayetano, Filipino brother, she never eat the calding. My mom used to tell, because haole Filipino. But she never mean haole, but she meant haole Americanized haole. You know what I mean? Not the Visayan kind haole Filipino, the white skin. It's a different kind Filipino than the Visayan. Any Visayans up in the face? Nobody? But yeah, so she was saying that about Ben Cayetano. So yeah, we need to flip the script on this. We've been flipping the script, as Christina said earlier in her introduction, that since the 80s and 90s, there have been a little bit of awakening. People's attitudes have been changing, but not enough. Because every year in my classroom, I teach Hawaiian language. I ask the students, what is you guys' first language? English. What's your mother and father talk? What they speak? Oh, Pidgin. So why don't you get, so they have this thing about being hila, being shamed a little bit for say that they speak Pidgin. So I ask them, why are you guys ashamed but admit you guys speak Pidgin? And after a while, they don't want to explain, but after a while they start saying, because they're ashamed to admit that they speak Pidgin. Why are you ashamed to admit speaking Pidgin? So the stigma still lasts till today. And it's all because of, I don't know how to say all, because of the way schools work. The way we define success is different. For us, at Kahakaula Ka'ili Koladi, what are you going to do in a BA in Hawaiian Studies? Whatever you do with a BA in Hawaiian Studies. We don't measure success on what kind of job you get and how much money you make. We measure our success by if you return or continue to speak Hawaiian in your family, in your mo'oku ahau. If it ended in your mo'oku ahau, you want to put it back in the mo'oku ahau so it continues. So we have to kind of change our attitudes, I think. Not just us here, because I think we all kind of the same attitude, but the way the institutions, the DOE, the universities, how they view Pidgin, how they view Hawaiian language as well, Hawaiian speakers. And not saying that keep continuing this talk about how we'll be intellectually inferior if we speak Pidgin or Hawaiian. We won't have the career opportunities if we continue to speak Pidgin or Hawaiian. We're in a socially economic lower class if we speak Pidgin. So we need to start to change those types of attitudes. But I think we're doing a disservice to the kids if we try to squash or put out their Pidgin knowledge, or allowing them to use Pidgin to express their views, and using Pidgin to help them understand other views as well. And there's been choke research, a lot of research. You guys use choke on over here? Choke research on it, being bilingual or multilingual. Cognitive flexibility, increases creativity, increases thinking skills, which leads to increased intelligence. So I think the statement from Governor Cayetano, I think, is the opposite of what it should be. We're doing a disservice if we try to squash the Pidgin language or even the Hawaiian language. So I know there's a lot of things up there about grammar, and I want to talk about a little bit how I try to use Pidgin in a positive way. And Christina's the pictures of Kekea's class and stuff. I was like, oh, that's very interesting, because we kind of do the same thing. Not really like this, but just an example of how you can get to a Pidgin statement from grammatically correct Hawaiian. Ono ka poi, ono na poi, tastes good the poi. Ho ka ono ka poi. I saw awe ka ono ka poi on that. That's a pretty good one too. Ho da ono da poi. You guys say ho over here? Ho da hot. Like right now. Ho da hot. I think it's from being nervous, I think. That's what it is. But yeah, so especially in lower level courses, we try to use the kids sound old. Use the students' knowledge of Pidgin to help them realize that they're already coded in Hawaiian, sort of. You know, the way the words are structured, the way you come out saying things. So one of them is grammar, like this. Ono ka poi is very kind of easy. Another way we use Pidgin for helping to learn Hawaiian is ki'ina leo. Can anyone help with ki'ina leo? Intonation? Is that the word? English? I'm not sure. But, so, like this word. Did I spell it correct? I'm not sure. How do we say this in English, class? Carburetor. But in Pidgin, carburetor. So it's the second vowel from behind, right? So in English, class, watermelon. In Pidgin, watermelon. So sometimes our kids, they're so English way of thinking and speaking, they have a hard time when it comes to Hawaiian to get on the second vowel from the end. How would you say this? Well, like this, the first one. Carburetor, watermelon. Lena, Lena. Lena, Lena, Lena. Lena, Lena. Lena, Lena. You see the difference, right? Maupopo, Maupopo. So this is another way we try to help remind them, now go deep inside your Pidgin language. Say, carburetor. My kids, they always say, I sound old again. My students say, they always, when a student says it wrong, carburetor. Oh, okay. Carburetor, watermelon. These are two of the words that we like to use in class for that. Another way, besides, well, we'll go back to this for words. And it's important the way we use words because, when Christina first emailed me about authenticity, about what sounds authentic, and this is one of the things. I remember a story, I used to play cards, poker at my house all the time. And I had this guy from Alaska at our house he used to play. And so when somebody was taking a long time to get into the pot, to make up his mind if he can be in the pot or not, the guys on the side would be, oh, come on, bro, make hard. Make hard. So after a couple of months, like when kids fall down, they start to cry because they're ashamed. Oh, bro, stand up, make hard. Like that. So after a couple of months, you guys started try to talk like us. But when he said it, he said, "Big hard." I said, "Bro, what you do with your friends in Alaska when you guys play cards, it's up to you guys." It sounded kind of sexual, Hey, bro, make hard. Hey, make hard. Yeah, so it has that's kind of the thing of authenticity that Christina was talking to me about. So I'm sorry, I got off track a little bit. Make hard, everybody, come on, make hard. So another way of using intonation in questions, because in English, the question rises at the end when you ask a question, right? Like this one. I need a trigger, like, hey, yeah, okay. Hey, have you eaten yet? Visitor, have you eaten yet? Is that even correct? I'm not sure. But in Pidgin, like this, you probably eat already. I mean, it rises and then drops at the end. You probably eat already, or you ain't eat already. And so when our students, they start to kind of follow the English intonation when speaking, Wapauka ai ana? Yeah. It's kind of off, yeah, a little bit. Wapauka ai ana? Ai muani oi? So we try to, whenever they go into this English way of pronouncing or intonation, always go back to Pidgin. Go back to Pidgin. How you say that in Pidgin? And so that's one of the ways we use it. And then I think the next one is another one of these. Hey, is Jim your father? Sound good, huh? Oh, Pra kimo ia whara. O kimo ko makua kane. O kimo ko makua kane? Sound off, yeah. Kimo ko makua kane. Alright, so that's another way we use what do you call pidgin to help with Hawaiian speaking. But one of the most important things I think for me, being a native speaker of pidgin, even though I might be speaking English now, say, me and Lian was talking earlier about this kind of talk. I don't want to steal his topic, but we were talking about what language should I use? Hawaiian, English, pidgin. Because I was conflicted when Mrs. Higgins, Christina, told me that I could choose whatever language I wanted to. Hawaiian, because I'm so used to speaking Hawaiian all the time, and when I speak in front of groups like this, usually in English, proper English, and I don't know, but I'll let Liana talk about that. But for another thing in our classrooms, at the Kahakaula Oke'eli Kolani, we have this, what is this in English? An educational philosophy, I guess, would we call? It's called the Kumuhodua Mauliola, and there are a lot of aspects to it, but today I want to talk about 4 aspects. Our Maoli is a cultural life force, identity, our being, who we are, and there are 4 parts of it that we try to identify to help us understand ourselves better. Because everybody, not just a Hawaiian Maoli, but a local Maoli, a Japanese Maoli, a Portuguese Maoli, we all can check out, we can look at our Maoli through these lenses, these 4 lenses. So one of them is language. The language that we speak, it kind of forms of our being, how we express what our Kuana Ike people, help me. Kuana Ike? Perspectives. Oh my man, right there. Perspectives can help the way people perceive us as well, like the stigma and all that we heard earlier before. But not just the stigma, but in a good way too. If somebody's speaking pidgin, you have the comfortable feeling, you can talk story with that guy. He's from here, he has the same perspectives as you as on most things, hopefully. They also have the pili uhane, the spiritual aspects, and the lavena, kinesthetic, behavioral, ike ku'una, traditional inherited knowledge. Now lavena, I want to go to the next slide, because I want us to do a little bit of, next slide. Yeah. So lavena, it's a physical behavior element. So what I want us to do today, little small group activity, at your table. I'll give you an example of what lavena is. So if we see somebody on the street or anywhere in school and you're walking by, you're not really familiar with them, but you want to say, give them an acknowledgement, local style. How you do that? Head up. People, you guys new over here. Anything new. So the head up, you walk around, you go, oh, how's it? But if you're not from here, usually the head go down. Morning. Morning. And when I first started working at the university, we didn't have our own building. We just sit at the other, we had our offices in the other, with the other professors, and I would pass this guy every morning, and he'd always go, morning. And I would copy him, morning. Yeah, so just little things like that we can tell. But sometimes if the up is too slow, I might say action after that. If you're walking by and look at you. If you go up, but then the eyes go down, that's ooh. You want some action. So, first one, at the table, can you give us some examples of local lavena? What local people, I don't want to give any more examples, I might steal somebody else's line. So just physical behaviors that represent local people. If somebody does it to you, oh, he's from Hawaii, he local. At the table, go ahead, real quick. Couple seconds. Okay, ready? Ready? Here we go, let's start from the front. What's an example? Finamoa, that's alright. It's all good. No more, no more. What about you guys? You guys get one? Physical. There you go. Perfect. That's the one. I like that one. That's shaka. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, shaka. I love that one. Anybody else? What next table up? No shame. Keep going. Anybody else? Shaka, that's all you guys got for local people? Hug and kiss, Lavena. When you go to a party.
Bring something.
Oh.
Anybody want to?
Oh, thank you, Christina. Thank you. Hug and kiss. You go to a party, you go kiss everybody. Yes, very good. I love that's from Hawaiian culture, right? So a lot of things being local comes from Hawaiian culture, right? So this is one example. Kissing. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Oh, so like usually for male.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, I can go. Okay. So for like female to male at one party, it's like, like, oh, you and he,
Yeah.
Like, kiss, and then usually male to male, when it's your uncle.
There you go. I like that. How about at parties? Where do the parties I go to? I'm not sure. Where do the men sit? Where do the men and women sit together, or they separate men with men, women with women?
Usually at my parties, no more separation. I don't know. I mean, we're not like local Hawaiian, I don't know if it's split for you guys, but.
Well, I'm not Hawaiian.
Well, I don't know what you
Yeah. No, that's good. For us, yeah, it's sort of men go with the men, women go with the. I think it's kind of a Hawaiian. It's related to Hawaiian culture. Anybody else?
Stink eye.
Oh, the stink eye. Can you give us an example, Auntie? Ooh, scared. Off that one. So Laveda, the way we act, behave, another thing about our identity. Ike kuuna, cultural knowledge. Shit like that, hula, working in the mala. Anybody? Cultural knowledge? Local cultural knowledge? When you go to somebody's house, take off your slippers. Where is that from? Japanese, maybe Pake too sometimes. But yeah, so these things help us form our identity. Any more? Feeling one is spiritual. This doesn't have to be with religion. Could be, but doesn't have to. You see, like some people have a relationship to the ocean. Like for me, sometimes when I start getting too stressed, I gotta jump in the ocean. So I think that's like a spiritual relationship as well. Some people have a spiritual relationship to hula, maybe to Laka herself. But yeah, so this is another. Anybody else spiritual? I don't know about you guys, like Filipinos, they put the knife under the crib for chase away the obake. Wow, Filipinos chasing away obake. But yeah, anybody saw that? Filipinos putting knife under the crib, chase away obake? No? It's deep, Okala, we deep in Okala. Yes, go ahead. Not supposed to whistle at night, yeah. It's a Hawaiian thing. Is that another thing in Japanese culture, maybe? I'm not too sure about that. But, okay. One of the things, spiritual, I don't know, when we was kids, we always used to like to go to the bon dance. We're not Japanese, but we used to like eat the side men and jump into the line and dance around too. It's a little bit spiritual, but not too much. And then, of course, olelo, paiai, pidgin. Somebody speaking pidgin, we have a certain feeling towards that person, and we all got that already. So, I have a handout. Yeah, do you guys have it? Ko'olau? Yeah. So learning, Pidgin helped me to learn Hawaiian. and it kind of helped me to further myself in Hawaiian language. But also by learning Hawaiian, it helped me learn a little bit about Old Pidgin. And this is from the story Kalua I Ko'olau. It was written, I think, it was published in 1905, 1906, something like that. And by the arrows, you can follow along. It's a shortened, condensed version of Hawaiian. The word order is a little bit different too sometimes. So, and I put some of the examples in Hawaiian on the side. So, mahea ko'olau. There's no O in this one, the pidgin. Kind of shortened and condensed it. Where's ko'olau? Mo'ope yaya pi mai. I think PE was from when they were on the moku on the ships, and they would tell pi mai, pi mai. I think the sailors heard that and they started using pi mai for hele mai or ho'i mai. So mahope yaya pi mai. And then here's another one. Kekai man. Here's the full pi mai oya mahope. Kekai manava yaya pi mai avakea. Ikekai manava pi mai oya ike avakea. It comes up at during lunchtime, lunch hour, or comes back. Mahope au make make kamailio ko'olau. Afterwards, I want to talk to ko'olau. Mahope make make wau kamailio ko'olau. Continues a little bit more. Oe hiki no nana yaya kamailio kela mana o oe. I thought it meant this. Hiki no ya oe ke nana yaya ke kamailio ikela. You can see him later, and then you can talk about what you want to talk about with him. And then a couple more. Like pu no kela manava mawa noho make kaha. Like pu no me kela manava amao I noho ai make kaha. It's like the time we lived in Kekaha. And then the last one, Aole nui lili ula vale no makela papa lina. Aole nui ula lili vale no makela papa lina. It's not too much. He has a little bit of red on his cheek, just talking about leprosy. Ko'olau had leprosy. So, I think that's it. Yes. So that was my presentation. Really grateful for you guys paying attention. You guys laughed at my corny jokes sometimes. But hopefully my message didn't get lost too much in my stammering around here. That pidgin is important. It's very important to our identity as people, local people, cultural people. It has relationships to not just the language, but not just the Hawaiian language, but a Hawaiian culture, a Hawaiian way of being, just by being local. And because like how Hawaiian is at the substrata of pidgin, it's also at the substrata of the way we live as people here in Hawaii. So I think it's very important to continue, and that's the reason I became a professor of Hawaiian language, because when I had to choose sides, I chose the local side, which I saw was on the same side as Hawaiian, so the enemy of my enemy is my friend, you know what I mean? So that's how I became, because I wanted to find a way to keep Hawaii as Hawaiian as possible for my relationship to pidgin and the local culture, and I'm glad that I'm doing what I'm doing because I get to fulfill that dream. So that's it. That's all. Any questions? Oh.
Let's please thank Dr. Cabral for his talk.
Mahalo, mahalo.
Yes, when I was a recipient of the federal government National Endowment for the Humanities in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the Cherokee Indians. And I understand they told me that the University of Hawaii Hilo department and they were partnering to preserve their language and your language. And so that's what I learned when I was there as a guest of the Indians who were forced to leave Florida and settle in Oklahoma. Can you explain some of your partnerships that you have with them?
We don't have an official partnership with them. However, we do have a lot of relationships with many Native Americans and other natives around the world who are trying to revitalize their language. With the Cherokees, I went there in Oklahoma about 5 years ago, and they have a school called Sequoia High School, and it's sort of like a Kamehameha High School where you need to have Native American blood to go into the school, but their elementary was Ho'olu Olelo, what is that? Immersion. So they flew to Hawaii. They came to check out the Punana Leo, check out our immersion schools, how we do things there, and took what they thought would be work best for them and went back and they started their elementary. And we keep in contact with them to follow along their progress. And we go up there to see what they're doing. They ask us, okay, come up and watch what we're doing. And that's what I went up there to do, to give a talk at the university as well as go to their schools to check them out. So we have those types of relationships. We also have at our university a PhD in Hawaiian language and culture revitalization as well as indigenous language and culture revitalization. So we have cohorts that are Native American Indians. This past year we had 4 in our cohort. An Ojibwe, Lakota, what else? Mohawk from Canada, and not an Inuit. What else are there in Alaska? Deep. What? Oh, good. No, not Inuits. Oh, I forget what she. Yayuk is her name. But anyway, so we have them who come to our program. And when they come to they have classes, but they also do a lot of field work. They go to our schools, they sit in, they watch how they teach. So yeah, that's the kind of partnerships we have. It's not an official partnership per se, but it's yeah, we help. Whoever wants help, we try to help as much as we can. Hope that answered your question. A little story about the Lakota guy. He asked me, you know, why, because it's so hard for them to revitalize their language, and they're struggling, really struggling in South Dakota, the Sioux, the Lakota. He asked me, why is there some form of success in Hawaiian language revitalization around the state? And I told him, because of Pidgin. Because kids grow up speaking Pidgin, second language learners of Hawaiian, not the ones who are already speaking Hawaiian in homes, but second language learners already have that code in their brain, and it kind of helps along with learning the structure. Plus, they pronounce all the Hawaiian words, the names of the streets, where they're from, ka'u, you know what I mean? It's kind of, you don't say kau, ka'u, so they already have a way to pronounce Hawaiian language. And also we have great kumolelo Hawaii like Laiana and Kekaha. Sorry, Kekaha. Yeah. So, yes.
Maybe any other folks have questions?
Questions?
We're slightly running late.
Sorry.
But no, it's all good. We'll have some time at the end for general Q&A and discussion, talk story.
Yes, go ahead.
Did you tell your 8th grade English teacher you became a professor of Hawaiian?
Yes, she knows. Because, like I said, she first moved there, that was like 30 years ago, a little more than 30 years ago. But she stayed for another 30, she retired from our school, so I appreciate that from her staying, because a lot of times teachers come to our school, they stay for a bit, and they leave. However, this past summer, I played in a basketball tournament in Kona, and her son, who came to our school with her, he came up and talked story with me, and brother was full Pidgin. Full Pidgin. Hey, bro, remember me? Miss Joe's clock song. Oh yeah, that's right. So I was in my head, I was like, oh, she told me truck driver, I looked this side. But you cannot help, you know what I mean? You move to a place for small kid time and you hang with the kids, you end up speaking like the rest of the kids. Yes. Any more questions? Miss Jones.
Okay, so let's say mahalo once again.
Mahalo, mahalo.